You know him as Gary Wilde from the hit show Shake It Up. We're glad to be chatting with Brandon Johnson. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. Great to be here. Very excited. And, yeah, we're shaking it up. I'm actually in mid-stretch right now.
I'm very glad to hear. And we actually saw yesterday's episode of Shake It Up, the Pegasus episode.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that, how it was filming that?
Did you see the double Pegasus one?
I did.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was really exciting to have certainly Leslie Jordan guest star. He is, kind of a comic genius, and certainly, he was I think most recently into Help. But though he's 4'11", his talent and comic wisdom and timing is massive, the size of Mount Everest. So, we had a ball with that. Everybody I thought, did a great job. And, I was just very pleased as to how that episode turned out. So, and we're, today, right now, we're in the midst of yet another great one. So we did the table read a little bit ago, and we'll be stepping into rehearsals in 20 minutes or so.
Well, we can't wait to see the new episodes. And you have to tell us, how did you start off on this? Did you start off as an actor, as a host first, or vice versa?
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of crazy thing how this opportunity came about. So basically, to break it all down, when they first did the Shake It Up Chicago pilot for the Disney Channel, there was another host that was cast. But when they decided to move forward with the series, they ended up going with a different guy. And so when they did the different guy, apparently that didn't work out either. And literally, I got a call. I think it was it was on a Thursday at about 6:30 p.m. They wanted me to come down for an immediate producer session, and I auditioned for it. And then a few hours later, around 10 o'clock, I got a call saying, look, they want you on set at 8 a.m. for a network run-through, and here's the script, and, oh, by the way, can you reserve the next 3 months of your life? It moved so fast. And though I have, in the past, I also do television hosting, so in many ways it was kind of a perfect synergy between the two. I showed up and I did it, and I made it through that rehearsal, and they said, okay, come back for taping on Monday, and we usually do Monday tapings, and we do live audience on Tuesday, and we did the live audience show, and they said, okay, come back. And so, for a while they were sort of just seeing how the character played out, and the response was good, and here we are. In our second season, we're right now. I think we're just starting our 21st episode of the second season. So it's been an incredible ride. But yeah, I started out as an actor and was a comprehensive theater major at the University of Wisconsin. And then when I graduated, I bought a ticket and sold my Camaro, and I went straight to New York City, and I decided there. And I just went after my dream, and I was an actor, and I started doing television and film and commercials and all that jazz. Somehow I got invited to do some hosting, and I did a job called Cooling Your Code out there, and that got a little heat, and a hosting agent saw me do it and snapped me up, and then next thing you know, I took off and started doing the hosting thing. So basically for the past 10 years, I've been jumping back and forth between those two worlds, and so far so good. So that's where I'm at.
Well, trading in your Camaro doesn't sound like a bad deal anymore, now does it?
Well, you know what? It was an old school Camaro. It looked like Kit from Night Ranger, Night Rider in the day, and it was a Camaro. It was a 1983 Camaro Berlinetta. I bought it at a used car shop, and I don't know. I thought it was cool, but yeah, it served its purpose. It got me the money to get out to New York City, and I scraped though. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The first few years out in New York City was really difficult, but I certainly had the drive and I had the dream, and there were definitely moments where I was learning how to stretch $10 in that day, and there were moments where I had pins in my jacket to hold it together. I had duct tape in my shoes, literally. But eventually you want something bad enough and you go for it hard enough, it starts to pay off. And I'm really blessed and lucky that I stuck with it, and here I am today. So, and all those opportunities actually led me to Los Angeles, because it wasn't really until I had the opportunity to move out here that I wanted to do it. I love New York City, but I also love Los Angeles. So both coasts have been good to me.
Absolutely. Well, you're a great example for young teens out there who would like to pursue their careers that never give up, never give up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and here's the deal. If you truly want to step into this, you know, the business aspect of it can be a little hardcore sometimes. So I always tell people, you're going to have kind of rhino skin, but that soul of a butterfly, because you will get knocked down many times, but it's going to be all about who can get back up. You know, we all get knocked down. And when I was younger, I played a lot of hockey when I was a little boy and growing up into my teens and stuff. And so, ironically, it kind of taught me a metaphorical lesson. You know, I got knocked down a lot in hockey, but I always got back up. And it also taught me about discipline. You know, you have to sort of discipline yourself to this craft. And you have to make some sacrifices along the way. But I think if you have a dream and you have laser focus and you're willing to work hard, you know, great things can happen. But it doesn't always happen overnight, you know. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And then we couldn't think of a better person to have as Gary Wilde on Shake It Up, first off.
Thank you.
And then do you have a favorite episode that you've filmed so far?
Oh, boy. Oh, man. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Well, you know what? One that I really enjoyed turned out to be, I think, the last episode that we shot for season 1, but it wasn't the season finale. But it was one that's been airing every so often over the past couple of months called Throw It Up, where I get really sick.
Yes. And
I come down with this flu and I get really sick, and then the girls try to take over the show, and then eventually I get better. But that was a lot of fun to shoot. It's just, you know, every so often when I get to kind of deviate. I've played a robot on the show. I've played very sick on the show. I've been a dancing hot dog on the show. I got some other things coming up that you guys haven't seen yet, but I'll be doing some other, you know, anytime I can jump into doing some fun character work and get outside of the typical Gary Wilde television host stuff is always a gift. The writers, you know, are fantastic, and they write great stuff for us, and they give us great material to play with. So, let's see, coming up. Well, there's going to be a really fun episode coming up this Sunday, actually, called Auction It Up. We're going to be doing an auction to be part of a dance show and stuff. And so I hope everybody tunes in this Sunday to see that. That's going to be a really funny episode. I love that. So we'll see. But there's still more to come, as always.
That sounds exciting. And episodes, they do keep getting better and better each episode now.
Yeah, I think, well, you know, and that's the deal, is that you never really know at the very first, you know, the first 13 episodes or so of the season. You know, you're just trying to get your groove, you're just trying to get a rhythm to the show. The writers are trying to find the voice of the characters, and then the actors are trying to find the voice of their characters. We're trying to see what works and what doesn't work. And then after a while, I think now that we're in the second season, we're really in a great place. And I think that, you know, certainly the response has been phenomenal. Just so lucky and blessed. We got the best fans literally in the world. The show is now global. It's a little overwhelming sometimes. It's pretty crazy to, you know, have this communication with. So it's somebody over in Poland. I think we're just about to launch in Russia now, and just everywhere from China to Europe, America. It's been pretty wild. I was actually yesterday. I was just down at Disneyland. And in January, I'm going to start doing a show. Well, I think we'll start to at least begin the casting for a show for what's called, I did a thing for HGTV called My Yard Goes Disney, where we transform people's backyards into these one-of-a-kind makeover, custom-made by the Imagineers from Disneyland, and we transform your backyard. And so I think we're going to kick into that at the end of January, and I was out at Disneyland shooting some promos for that yesterday and did a little interview for that. So it's always a trip to go down into Disneyland and really be there with your audience and stuff, and say hello and take lots of pictures and, you know, see other cute little princesses running around. It's a fun, it's a pretty magical place.
Oh yeah, definitely. Disneyland is so magical, and we can't wait for that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
when you worked on that My Yard Goes Disney, it must have been like just a fun experience, just seeing everyone's reactions on their faces. It's not a job anymore. It's more so fun for you, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is the opportunity to provide that kind of service for a family. And you know what? It even spreads out from the family to the community and to your neighbors and stuff like that. To be able to kind of create this epicenter of imagination and dreams for the kids. And when they come back and they see that and the look on their faces, there's not a dry eye in the backyard. It's an emotional sonic boom that goes off, and they're literally in shock. We've had kids just stop in their tracks. They don't even recognize their backyard because we tell them. We kind of take them away, and we take them off to Disney World or Disneyland or something. We take them out of the picture for a few days, and we tell them that we're just going to kind of clean up their backyard and maybe put a couple plants in there, like Mommy and Daddy want a contest. And we literally have to keep it totally secret from them to the point where we're putting up things on the window so they can't see in the backyard. Mm-hmm. And then when they come back there, the transformation happens so quick, and there's a tremendous crew from the HGTV designers to all of the people at Disney. There's a very specific choreography to how we do it, but once we draw from the experiences that these families love from being having Disney in their life, now that's how we really can begin to create everything, and then it's just full bore. I mean, we are down to the wire cranking through it. But again, I think season 2 that we're going to kick into is going to be bigger than it's ever been. I'll be down at the 19th annual Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival in April, giving tips on how you can transform your backyard and stuff like that. You can always go to hgtv.com/myyardgoesdisney to see videos and picture galleries of what we're doing. So, it's really fun to be not only on Shake It Up, obviously, but to be able to do this. Again, they both complement each other. And when the kids show up and they got Gary Wilde in their backyard, they just totally trip out. So it's really fun. I'm just very grateful.
I'm sure, and like you said, who wants to leave Disneyland, though? It's just so magical, and to have it in your backyard, that's an experience within itself.
Oh, I mean, anything from 200-foot train tracks in the backyard to spinning teacups to a pirate ship we've put in, a Mickey Mouse-shaped pool. We've put in the silly symphony swings in people's backyards. I mean, it's really incredible. You could probably charge admission. And this is now an environment where a family can create memories forever, and then the next generation can have that forever. It is the gift that keeps giving.
Wow, that's exciting. That's very, very amazing.
It is.
Tell us how you like working on One Life to Live.
Yeah, that was a trip. Well, the cool thing about it was when I was in New York City, I only lived 3 blocks away from where One Life to Live tapes. And so I would always walk by there, going, one day I'm going to work there. I don't know what show I'm going to do, but I'm going to work there. I just kept kind of putting that out in the universe. And I started off doing kind of like under 5 stuff on the show and got in with the casting directors. And then I had that opportunity for a recurring character. And they were trying to bring Nathaniel Marston back to the show. And so I played this character named Dr. Michael McBain, who was soulless. And so his mission was if he could get inside a body of somebody that actually was soulless, if he could get that person to do 3 good deeds, then he would inhabit my body. And that's basically what happened. So every time I looked in the mirror, we had to shoot my face, and I would interact with his girlfriend, Marcy, and all that stuff. And then eventually the storyline played out enough where people understood that it was Nathaniel, and so then I kind of faded away. And then a couple years later, when I had just moved to Los Angeles, I had... basically what had happened, I had an opportunity to audition for a series regular. And eventually, I got the call to go out and test. So I went out and I screen test for this character. And eventually, it was between me and John Brotherton. And both our auditions went very, very, very well. And so I walked out of it thinking, I totally got this. I got this. And then the call came in the next day. They said, look, we're going to go with John. However, we had this other option, this other character, if you'd like to step into it, named Chuck Wilson III. He's a ranch hand. Would you want to do it? The only thing is you'd have to fly back and forth from L.A. to New York. And at the time, I had the availability, and I said, sure. And so that's how the whole Chuck Wilson III thing began, and I went from being a jerk white-collar doctor to a Texan, ranch hand at the Buchanan Ranch. And so it